What's this? But this does not look like mycelium. I think I've got chrysalises in here. Yeah, wow, 2 there. Which leaves the tomatoes. Probably my favourite part. It is time to put out the spinach and rocket. It's just finding some room. I don't really have much room. I'm gonna have to move my solar lights, which I still don't know where I'm going to put them. And choose a spot for guys, you've got to go. Oh, that lettuce can stay. Right, let's put these in the compost. So I've got 2 pots of spinach and the rest is rocket. So the rocket I might put further over there with the other rocket. But the spinach, I might put some here. Rocket, 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 rocket. Hang on. I should have 2 spinach. Have I left one? I think this has got rocket in as well as spinach. Okay. Sneaky. It can stay. If it wants to live, it can stay. Now, do I put some... I'm going to top this up with compost. Yes. God, tomato seeds everywhere. Yeah, I'm going to top it up. Wow. Well, I've never seen this before in a compost bag. Come closer. I've seen mycelium before. This does not look like mycelium. That'll be okay. I'll just mix it in. Never seen it go like that. It doesn't look like mycelium. Right, let's just put it in and go from there. I mean, it's very dry. What's this? What is that? Doesn't look like carrot. What are you? There's nothing growing under there. No, you're not a spring onion. Confused. Right. Back to the task. I've lost my spinach again. There it is. I'll put it next to the perpetual for a bit of shade. Yes. to get this watered. And then I'll see if I can get the rocket over there. Sorry for shadows. The washing's on the line. Okay. Let's get the spinach / rogue rocket in. You're probably wondering, what is my plan for my planting scheme here? And the truth is, I never really have a plan. I just sow seeds, and when they grow up, I find a place for them. And I just try to make sure that it's somewhere that's suitable for the plant. And that's it. No hard work. I might put peas here, I'm not sure yet. Got this little frame here from last year, which was for edamame. It didn't really come with anything. So in here's the garlic, the 2 spinach with a rogue rocket, the perpetual spinach, which has gone a little bit mad, and there's 1 carrot here. Is that a carrot too? It must be. It must be a carrot, but there's nothing growing under there. I might pull it out. And the red lettuce is still going, which is brilliant. Now, over here is where I'm going to put the rest of the rocket. This is under the cherry tree. Now, what are you? You're some kind of lettuce, or maybe you're rocket. You're probably cherry tree. This is from TK Maxx and it's a food coverer. And I've had it out here. What's in there? Is that a chrysalis? I've had it out here. There's another one. I think I've got chrysalises in here. Yeah. Wow, 2 there. Are they really? Okay, I need to Google Lens those. These bees are so loud. Right, hang on. Let me show you what these are first. Where are you? There you are. So I have those. And then there's this thing over here, which at first I thought was a spider's nest, but I'm not too sure. I won't prod. I'm assuming these are I'm assuming they're moths. This appears to be a small brown moth resting. No, it's not a moth. Come on, let's try again. Yeah, chrysalis, likely belonging to a small white butterfly. Oh dear. Those aren't the ones we want. Well, they can stay in there for now. Probably put that in the shed. Right, back to what I was doing. What am I doing? Get rid of this grass. Spring onions, I can pick them. Weed. Weed. Oh. Okay. Let's see how this looks. A little bit white, but not like the other one. I'm sure it's fine. Hopefully just good mycelium. I think that's a garlic. Because again, they grow and I have to give them some chance at life. If I had the strength, I'd tip it up, but I'll probably damage all the plants. So let's be sensible about it. I actually bought some spring onions from the shop, but these are ready. Some of the leaves are a little bit curled, so they could actually have leaf miner. You know, I'm vegetarian, I don't want to eat one. The problem with doing this is the cats will see it as a wonderful cat litter tray. Which isn't ideal. Need to tidy up this perpetual spinach. Got some diseased leaves. You may as well make way for the better ones. See how one job leads to 3 million others? Okay, back to it. So this is my cat deterrent, large stick, to try and stop them from having enough space to go to the loo. Okay. Okay. These also look like they want to bolt. But I don't mind if the leaves are quite peppery. I just don't want them to be bitter. Where would you like to live, little plants? It's only me in this house that eats it as well. However, I do love it, so that's that's no hardship. And filthy. Yeah, they need the shade, so I'm going to put them, if the roots of the tree aren't too high. Yeah, I think we've got enough room. It is, of course, drier over here, which is fine for rocket. I have a perpetual one in a pot that I pretty much never water, and it's absolutely fine. It does not need me at all. The only thing I wish I could have in this garden, which I don't have currently, is a greenhouse. And there just really isn't room to put one in based on what else we like to have in the garden. I'd have to sacrifice a seating area, and I don't want to. Excellent. There we go. Let's try some. Hope we've got no bugs. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to also put out the winter lettuce. I want to get the most out of it while I can. I might have to start removing the rocket and the other winter lettuce that has flowered, because I'm going to need the room. But for now, I can put these under the bay. Next to the spinach. So my battery ran out and we had a storm yesterday, so we're now on the following day and I'm checking up on my to-do list, which is coming in very useful. And that is true. I need to pot on my tomatoes, the nasturtium and the sunflowers. So that is the next job of the day. Let's get going. So welcome to the side of my house, and this looks very chaotic, but it is a pallet bench, and I've just used odd bits of wood to block the holes so that I don't lose everything down there. And this is my tray that I use to hold the compost when I'm potting on or planting seeds. So I'll always have a little bit of a mix of something in there. This is usually compost I've put together for seeds. And of course you can't do any kind of gardening really without a nice cup of tea. So let's get going. I'm going to be using some of the new compost, which I got from Blue Diamond. I don't have much room indoors, so I'm hoping to pot on the nasturtiums and the sunflowers and leave those outside in the mini greenhouse. Then the tomatoes, they are going to be potted on, and they will go into the house on the windowsill. I'm just breaking up the clumps and making sure that there aren't any stones in there, which so far so good. I haven't found any stones. I thought I'd found glass here, but it was fine. It wasn't glass. But sometimes you do find things like that. And that's why I go through just to be sure, because of course anything I'm potting on here will be going either into the big bed at the back of the garden, or it will go into pots. In the case of the tomatoes, it will be pots. It's like your own adult mud kitchen, isn't it? You can have a little bit of fun there. But it does have a purpose. I do want to make sure that the soil, the compost, is nice and moist. And I've got this ingenious little hole maker, which makes a great hole. It's actually, I thought it was cane, but it's not. It's from Buddleia, which is great. Old Buddleia cuttings. I mean, look at this. It does so many different things. Those Charles Dowding pots, it just pops them out nicely. And I always make sure that just before I'm going to pot on, I leave it to get a bit dry. It's just easier to pop out. If it's too wet, it's not as easy. Now I could have planted this a little bit deeper, but this is a bit of a temporary in-between. An emergency transfer, I would say. Doing this type of job is it's very therapeutic. You don't really think about anything else. You just think about the task in hand. And here the nasturtiums, I think there are 3 to be separated from those, and I'm planting up 2 per pot. And yeah, your mind is just totally focused on doing this. So the sunflowers are done, nasturtiums are done, which leaves the tomatoes, probably my favourite part. I'm just calculating here how many tomato seedlings I have, those that look strong and viable, versus how many pots I can actually fit into one tray to go on my windowsill indoors. And let's have a little bit of tomato seedling appreciation here. These have got beautiful red stems and red underneath the leaves. I'm assuming that will grow out as they get bigger, but they look really, really pretty. Now I need to divide them and separate them into new pots. And again, this is an emergency transfer, so this isn't the ideal situation for them to move on to. Preferably, I would have one of these pots per seedling, and I would transplant them a lot deeper, and that would be their home for a good while. But I don't have enough room to pot on 8 pots there, and I think we've got 2 seedlings per pot. So 16 tomato plants. 16. I've got 16 tomato plants. Plus, I have at least 3 in the mini greenhouse. Luckily, I did buy some extra pots to pot these on into when they go into the garden for the summertime. So yeah, there you go. It is just an emergency transfer for now, really. They needed more nutrients, and that was the main thing. So let's get these all done. So these will go back inside. They will live on a windowsill that faces southwest until we're definitely past frost and the weather's good enough to put them out. And let's tick off something from the to-do list. That feels good. Still lots to do though, hey? Now just picking up on yesterday. We had an abrupt ending because the camera ran out of battery and then along came some rain. So just to complete, the winter lettuce is out and the bed has been topped up with some really nice compost. I took out a couple of the old winter lettuce. They were literally hanging on by a third of a root. And the bird feeder is being used. I saw a sparrow earlier. And as you saw yesterday, spinach. Massive bumblebee up there. What else have we done today? We've put the old canopy back on the swing seat, but we do need a new one. And this is tomato area. 3 new pots in the middle, as you can see, lovely and clean. I now have 3, 6, 8 in total, but one has some perennial rocket. That rocket is lovely. And this rose here, totally forgotten the name, full of bud now. They're very pale yellow. And they open right up, so they're very good for pollinators. And I've moved the 3 new solar lights to this bed. I'm hoping they've had enough sun, because this gets sun first thing in the morning, but then it moves off around midday, 2 o'clock, something between those times. But it's lovely to see that we've still got a bit of sun in the garden and it's almost 5. Fairy area is looking really lush now. The ferns are starting to grow. Let's just show you this one down here. Getting lots of new fern leaves coming through. There's some ajuga down here. And this fern is starting to grow. I need to chop the old leaves off. Mint is still coming through around the edges only. Lemon balm's looking good. Now, what do you do with your lemon balm? I once made a pasta sauce and I went into the garden and I got all of the herbs. I knew they were all herbs. I got all of the herbs and put them into the pasta sauce, and it was probably one of the best pasta sauces I think I've ever had. And I realised I'd put lavender in there and some lemon balm. So there you go. Make it up as you go along. It's been a lovely day. And I'll have to show you another project that we did today. But I'm not going out the front yet because I've been out all day and I'm pretty tired, to be honest. Beautiful Saturday morning. Taking the dog out to the tune of lots of lovely birdsong. Heidi, come on, this way. No, you're not eating that. Come on. Come on. Come on, get out of all those spiders' webs. Yeah, spiders' webs. You're in spiders' webs in there. Come on. I do have a little glass of wine. Why not, hey? Cheers. Thank you for joining me on the Petite Plot. I hope to see you next week. And if you did like this video, I'd love for you to subscribe. See you next week.